hold on to the ball.
Jeez. And as you can see there, hold on to it. Her hands very, very sweaty, perspiring. It's very warm down there for the players. I'm in short sleeves. I was down there and I was not cold. Normally I'm extremely cold.
Absolutely beautiful day outside here in Reno, and this time of the year you don't normally get 70-degree days, but that's what it is, and bowling center may be a touch warm. And when that happens, it makes it a lot more difficult. When they turn on the bright lights with the pressure, those hands begin to perspire.
Well, I know Paula Vidad and I were talking about her hands were perspiring, and she was just sitting down there, so you know the bowlers have to be warm. And if Leanne Barrette could just hang on to it, as she mentioned, she's blowing in her thumb hole, trying to dry it out. It's very critical to get a good feel of the ball, a good, clean, crisp release.
After 2 open, she's still only down by 9. That looked like a fairly good shot, but ends up with 3-6-10, and you heard her utter, "Get it right." Come on. It'll hook back if you get it out there.
Well, what happens, Denny, is when you think you're going to lose it, you try to grip it a little bit more, and you turn it a little bit early, turn a little bit hard. You don't send it to the right. You just, because you're squeezing it.
And the ball doesn't roll the same when you squeeze it, obviously.
No, not at all.
When you start leaving those half-tens and all that ugly stuff.
7th year as an LPBT member, 14 national titles. Already has been named the 1992 Bowlers Journal All-American. She was our 91 Bowler of the Year and also Lynn Shoe Player of the Year in 90 and 91.
Anne-Marie trying to just stay calm, cool, and collected. Take advantage of the fact that Leanne Barrette is struggling.
See here, 93 average. She is first with a 215 average. Last year was her best year of her career. She made the 1992 Bowlers Journal All-American team. She's just come down to the fact that I am going to be a bowler. She said a couple years ago, I really didn't know. She says, I'm really focused now, and I know this is what I want to do, and I'm looking at it as more of a job.
Without question, she's much more committed now to the game than she was, both physically and mentally. Has done a lot of work on her game, spent a lot of time working with Team USA head coach Fred Borden. And of course, her husband, Pat, has been right there along with her in terms of instruction, use of bowling equipment, and getting into better physical shape.
She's covered all areas of the game, including the mental part of the game as well.
Anne-Marie with a 7-pin lead. This one's kind of slowed down to a screeching halt here in game number 2. Scores were pretty good in the opening match, lots of strikes, but players having their problems on the championship round pair here in match number 2.
Well, if you notice, Denny, both players are having the same problem. Both players' games very similar. Deep inside, crossing a lot of boards, trying to get the ball to hold pocket. Both of them have been unsuccessful at doing so.
All right, a strike for Anne-Marie-Duggan. And we'll be back after this perfect pack hit to Reno, Nevada. And while we were away, more bad news for Leanne Barrette. A 7-10 in the 6th, a spare in the 7th, and Anne-Marie-Duggan couldn't double in the 7th. As we return now to action, 20-pin lead for Anne-Marie and a Brooklyn. I don't know, Leila, I don't know if they can move any further left on 29 or 30. These lanes are really breaking down quickly. They may have to go in the other direction.
You can see how far she is sliding. I mean, she is playing the 3rd arrow on the left side.
She's playing the 5th arrow. I mean, and this ball's still hooking. I just wonder if that's going to happen. I just wonder if they'll start moving right and say, hey, you can't play inside. I mean, I might as well go right and see if I can find some oil. I mean, it's going to be an expedition now.
Switch balls. Anne-Marie did say she threw a lot of different balls this week.
Yeah, I guess you could go to something that's a lot harder, maybe, and stay right where you were. But all these balls are overreacting at about 45 feet.
Well, they're both using resin-type bowling balls, Denny. No, Leanne is not. Anne-Marie is, and they do hook more. Leanne is not using one.
Reactive resin?
The reactive resin balls.
R&R?
And they react.
They turn left.
Turn left and hit hard.
Yes.
And right now, the players do not need that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if maybe they shop for a little different look here, at least at the end of this game.
I'll take that back. Leanne is using a Turbo X, I think.
And don't forget, the next bowling that you'll be watching on ESPN comes up on Wednesday, March 31st. The American Bowling Congress PBA Senior Masters Championship. First time ever. It is a huge tournament, and it should be a great one. And you won't want to miss that one, as it starts at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time from down there in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
You see, there are 5 cash-ins and 5 events. 2 third-place finishes.
A solid stretch of bowling. Nothing spectacular, but by her standards.
But she's been there. She's been trying to put it all back together. She made some changes in her game, and another 7-10. Whoa. Finally got the ball right on lane 29.
You make a good shot, you leave one. You make a bad shot, you leave one.
It's that time when you start answering yourself after you're talking to yourself. Look at this. Pretty good hit here from the inside. Another 7-10.
Oh, the 5-pin goes right behind the 7. 6 in the channel.
But let's face it. I mean, you're to a point now where you can't move any further left with your feet. You're playing about as deep as you can play, and you have to throw a dead perfect shot to strike from that angle.
Well, she said, you throw a bad shot, you leave a 7-10. You throw a good shot, you leave one. You throw up your arms and you don't go to the tables.
Right. Yeah, basically you try and get out of town as soon as possible.
Here you can see where Anne-Marie is standing, where she's sliding. Good angle there.
Difference being Anne-Marie using loft to delay the ball, and Leanne's laying it down and really roping it and really hitting the ball hard.
That's right.
I'll tell you one thing. Carol Giannotti, as hard as she can throw it and as straight as she can go at times, may have a huge edge when she steps up to the plate here in the semifinal game. Cheryl Daniels, of course, a player much like Anne-Marie and Leanne Barrette, who likes to cover a lot of boards and play inside. We'll see what she decides to do. Not enough loft on that shot through the nose, but I don't think it's going to make any difference. Anne-Marie going to take a quick look at the board, but she's going to shoot 170-something without a spare. Normally, that's good enough to pack up your bags and head to the paddock, but tonight, it's a victory. What a turnaround. Game number 1, pretty good scores. Game number 2, a struggle just to get to the finish line.
I think you're right about Carol Giannotti coming in and being able to handle it. She is not going to have to play as deep. She's going to move right.
All right. A tough match, but Anne-Marie